What's going on, guys? I am back from my 7-week road trip to California, went to Disneyland, Arizona. Sean and I worked in the desert for about 7 weeks. I've been gone. Brought Route 66 home to the wonderful weather that we're experiencing here in Missouri. But the entire time I have been on the road, I have had this Bluetti Elite 200 V2 that Bluetti sent to me to do a review on, to try it out, install the Charger 1, and share all the details of my experience with you guys. The Bluetti Charger 1 that was sent to me, it got to me a little bit late. Lesson Bernadette brought it down to me. I was able to install it in the desert in less than an hour by myself. Everything that I needed was included in the box. I hooked it up to my starter battery. It's got a breaker on it. I only had to hook up probably 4 connections and it was installed. It's got MC4 connectors on it and it plugs right into my Bluetti Elite through this XT60. Also, I can charge my Bluetti AC200 Max off of it and my 200p off of it. Fortunately, I was able to let someone borrow my AC200p while out in the desert because I had this Elite with me. And because of its small size, it actually fits underneath the bunk with my charger, with my 200 Max. The AC200p I had to put underneath this bunk. So the smaller size is definitely a benefit for me. It's pretty heavy still. It's lightweight when you talk about what you're getting, but for me, being able to pick this in and up out of the van, I put it where I have easy access to it. I can connect things, disconnect them without having to pull it in and out. But lightweight, a lot smaller than the AC200, AC200 Max. So both of those are a win. So hooking up the Charger 1, I said, was easy. The other thing is easy is that that's really all you have to do. Once you get in the app and you link the battery that you have to that to the app, everything else it does on its own. You start your car. As soon as you start driving, as soon as you start the car, it recognizes that the car is running and it starts charging. It does fluctuate on the app while you're driving. 1 second you'll notice that you're charging at 575, the next you're charging at 400 or whatever. It bounces around a lot. I feel like that's normal because I discharged my battery to 0. So that when I got onto Route 66, I could start with an empty battery. I wanted to know, could I charge it to full in 4 hours? I am loving that Charger 1. If you've got a different battery, you go into the app and you change it to the battery that you have. Once it's installed, really no maintenance. Now, I did, when I got back to the shop, turn the breaker off. I don't want to accidentally start my van up while it's negative wind chill in Missouri and try to charge this when the temperature of it might be too low to charge. So I did turn the breaker off once I got into freezing conditions. All right, guys, so let's look at the Elite 200 now. This thing is smaller and lighter than the power banks that we have been using that have 2,073 watt hours of power. You do the math, that's 1,760 usable watt hours of power, estimated. So with a 2,600 watt inverter that can be boosted to 3,900, like what power bank do you know of this size that you can use an induction cooktop and a rice cooker at the same time to cook your meal? And then charge it back up while you drive at 575 watts an hour. So this thing small, compact with a tremendous amount of power. It's got 4 AC outlets. It's got 2 USB Type A and 2 USB Type C. Supercharger Type C, 100 watts an hour. 12 volt, 10 amp cigarette lighter port. You guys know it's coming. They got to do better on that. I love this thing, but it would be the best ever power bank if they would give me a aviator plug, an XT60, that I could get 12 volts, 25 amps, 30 amps out of. All the other power banks, the bigger power banks, have that aviator plug with the high amp. I would love to use this power bank for my van builds. I need a better DC output than 10 amps. So that's the only thing that I don't like so far about this unit. I feel like in the future, we're going to see this Elite be expandable. For right now, it's not. On the side here, you can ground it. I have heard people along the way, do you have to ground it? Do you have to ground it? You can ground this one. It's got the input on the side for AC current up to 1800 watts. So supercharge this thing in under an hour and a half. It also has a breaker on the side if you trip that breaker. So in the front, if you want to charge it by solar, up to 1,000 watts of solar, XT60 input for DC solar. I used my 100 watt Bouge RV with an XT60 MC4 connectors all connected. Go into here, and between that 100 watt panel and the DC to DC charger, I kept this charged enough in the desert that this was the only thing that I used on my AC current, because the AC current on this Elite 200 is better than the DC. Like, I don't know of a power bank that you can say that. DC current is always more efficient. Now, I haven't done any testing on the AC current in relation to the DC current, which is more effective. I will have to do that in the shop, going forward. Any updates I have on this, I will be sharing with you guys. But for the size, the amount of power that you get, the price that this is selling at, and I will put a link in the description below for a discount. You really can't go wrong unless you're looking for a higher amp DC output. Other than that, this is about the most bang for your buck that you can get out there right now. And it is a small power bank. It fits in the back of my van perfectly. I felt like it was made for that spot, and I have been loving it. Unfortunately, this one will not be given away because it is the perfect setup with this one and the Max for my build. So going forward, if you need a backup battery, if you need a primary battery, this is a good choice for extra power. So highly recommend this, along with the Charger 1 working together. You're just not going to have any power needs. So anyway, guys, thanks for following along. We'll see you guys on the next video.